Hi, guys. Happy Monday. I am in a slightly different working space than you're used to seeing me. So if you can hear me, comment me if you are parenting a child who you think has compromised attachment. And if you're not super familiar with attachment, this automatically applies to you if you are raising a child who came to your family through adoption, foster care, or kinship care. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how to create clear boundaries, have some healthy structure, but also have healthy attachment in mind. So if we haven't met yet, my name is Melissa Corkum. I am a post-adoption support specialist and creator of the Real Life Behavior Plan, bringing you brain-based solutions to challenging behaviors so that you can laugh more and yell less. You can find information about the work that I do with families at thecorkboardonline.com. And I also co-host the Adoption Connection podcast. If you happen to be catching this replay on Instagram TV or YouTube, I would invite you to join our community where we get to discuss all things about how to approach challenging behaviors from a brain-based perspective in my free Facebook community. And you can join that right here at thecorkboardonline.com/Facebook. All right. So attachment theory can get really tricky really fast, and it's pretty complex. But for the purposes of this discussion, I just want to focus on a couple basics. First, secure attachment is created through an attachment cycle where an individual has a need and it's met. So ideally, this would happen at birth. You think about a baby. When they cry, someone figures out what's going on and meets the need. It could be a dirty diaper, food, just, being rocked or something. But it can also is something that we can complete with older kids, right? They ask us for a snack and we provide that for them. We see them in discomfort and we provide comfort. Second, secure and earned secure attachment, which is an attachment style that we earn through all those attachment cycles that I just talked about, is the foundation for healthy relationship. So if your child seems to be struggling socially or in relationship with you, attachment is probably part of the equation. And then lastly, individuals with secure or earned secure attachment are comfortable with four things. They are comfortable with giving care, receiving care, negotiating their needs appropriately, and usually we say that is with their words, and they are comfortable with their autonomous self. And what that means is that they are comfortable with who they are. They have a sense of self-esteem, self-purpose, and they don't need to adapt that to a group or an environment. So I know we're all a little bit subject to peer pressure once in a while, but an individual with secure attachment generally is just okay with themselves. So like, for example, I know that I love flip-flops and that's part of who I am. And so I was willing to go against the grain in two situations. One, I graduated in hot pink flip-flops against the rules. And I also got married in white flip-flops when, most girls were getting married in sparkly heels. So there are lots of ways that your child's autonomous self can show up. But often we find kids who have insecure, avoidant, anxious, disorganized attachment really can't kind of stand on their own 2 feet from a identity perspective. Okay, so if you have a child who struggles with any of these four things, giving care, receiving care, you can strengthen their attachment by looking for creative situations where you can complete an attachment cycle. And we talk a lot here about balancing high structure and high nurture. So completing that attachment cycle is definitely on the high nurture side. And we're going to talk about the boundaries part, the structure side as well. So let me just do this with a quick illustration about something that happened with, or happens actually pretty often with our granddaughter. So she So I sat down the other day in her presence with a can of sparkly water, which is my treat for myself. And of course, she loves that too. And so she immediately, yeah, sparkly water, please. Right. And so before we had started working on the boundaries around how she can share sparkly water with me, a lot of times that would just look like whining or crying or screaming at me, right? Pointing, those types of things. She's just two. So we've developed this routine where she can share my sparkling water with me with a couple of boundaries. One is she has to be sitting down, preferably in her high chair with her tray, so we're not like running all over the house. Second, because she can be kind of a picky eater, a lot of times I'll do this at meal times, and we create structure around you can have a sip of sparkly water every time you take a bite of healthy food. So there's kind of this give and take. And so we're practicing giving care, receiving care, asking and negotiating for our needs appropriately. So after she takes a bite of healthy food, I don't just give her sparkly water. So it's not like I'm bribing her necessarily to take a bite of food. It's a little bit, but the difference is after she takes her bite of healthy food, I also require her to look at me and say sparkly water please, or more please. And sometimes she signs, sometimes she uses her words, and you have to be attuned to your child to know where that bar is in terms of what that healthy negotiation looks like. And then I'm able to give her, I give her the tiniest little sip in a cup, she drinks it, and we repeat that cycle over and over and over again. So another way to think about this is if your child asks for a snack. And if you have a child with a healthy attachment, you might just say, yeah, go get a snack, right? And they go to the snack bin and they get a snack out. If you have a child who you're working with attachment on, you might want to say, I would love to get you a snack. Let's do that together. And you control the snack bag. And every time they ask for a bite, a chip, a cookie, whatever it is, you say, I would love to give you that. And you give them one. So in this process, you are helping them negotiate their needs. So they're practicing asking with respect. You're giving a joyful yes. You're meeting the need. So you're completing that attachment cycle. They are practicing receiving care from you, right? Because it's a high nurture activity of receiving care to let someone control your food. In some cases, you can actually feed it to your child, right? That's practicing receiving care. You can do this if you each have a snack bag and you're sharing snacks, but you can only eat the snack if it's given to you by someone else, right? So that's both the giving and the receiving care. So we're building healthy boundaries around, we don't just take snacks without asking about how to get a need met with appropriate words. So that's a boundary. But then we're also completing this attachment cycle again and again and again and again. So I hope that is helpful. If you have a teenager, this all gets a little bit more tricky and a little bit more complicated, but not impossible. Some of the things to think about with teenagers is they are hardwired to start detaching from parent attachment figures. So it doesn't mean that attachment is impossible, but the goals might look a little bit different. The way that we help complete that attachment cycle is going to look a little bit different. And you also might shift your goals to helping them have earned secure attachment in other relationships, places like mentors, coaches, teachers, even other romantic relationships. Our kids can earn secure attachment in many different places. So if you have more questions about this and you would like to join me for a live Q&A, you can check out the upcoming schedule at thecorkboardonline.com/group. We gather there a couple times a month to specifically chat about what this brain-based parenting looks like for your specific situation. Those are donation-based events, so I hope to see you at one coming up. Until then, remember you are a good parent doing good work. Bye for now.